Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fox. This is Fox's Best Laid Plans. We do planning, we do weekly vlogs, we do some goal setting today, and we do anxiety and depression. Mostly that part's on the side, I think. I hope. Anyway, this is my first video of the new year for my power sheets, which I haven't filmed my power sheets before. I've talked about it in vlogs and I've talked about it in Plan With Me's, but I decided I'm going to do a monthly video with my power sheets. So this is going to be the big one. This is the going through all the prep work and going through the first month setup. So this is going to be a long situation. I don't anticipate that the power sheets videos after this month will be as long, and you'll see, if you're unfamiliar with the power sheets, you'll see what I mean when we get into the planning. So, if you're unfamiliar with the power sheets, it's by a company called Cultivate What Matters, and this is my third year using them. It's like a goal planning planner. It's not exactly a plan. I guess it's a kind of a planner, but it's a goal planning system, and I really have liked it. The first year I did it was 2019, and I didn't use it the whole year because my life was a little chaotic. And in 2020, believe it or not, even though my life was like chaotic in a different way, I did use it more, and I found it to be very helpful, so I wanted to do it again. So to give you an overview, if this is your first time checking out power sheets on someone's channel, welcome. So what you do is you do this big honkin' bunch of prep work, okay? Here's the prep work. It's a lot. It seems like a lot. And it is like literally hours of your time. So this year, I will put it up in the cards here, the video from Cultivate Your Year Live. So normally it is like a in-person conference that you would go to work on your prep work. This year it was virtual, so I actually attended it this year. It happened to fall on my Monday off, and it was all virtual, so I ended up doing that this year. And that got you through the bulk of the prep work, and it was like, it went from 9 until about 2:30. So it was a big day, and we moved quickly. Like, we moved more quickly through that than I would have expected for a conference like that. And that got you through the bulk of your prep work, and then you just had a little bit extra to do. So when you sit down to do this, I would not skip the prep work, even though it is a time commitment, because that is so important to figuring out what you're gonna do in the year going forward, right? So first thing, got my name. That's me. When we did the Cultivate Your Year Live, these notes up here, how anxious do you feel? How emotionally ready do you feel? And how focused do you feel? Laura Casey, who is the founder of Cultivate What Matters, asked us at the beginning of the session to do a check-in with these things, and like on a scale of 1 to 10. So how anxious do you feel today? A 10. That sounds like most days for me. So first page, you're ready for a new year. 2020 was a challenging year. Your plans didn't go as planned, and your goals changed as you experienced so much uncertainty. That is so true. So first page kind of like addresses that 2020 was a shit show for many of us, and we're gonna move on to 2021 and turn the page. So there are a lot of gardening and planting references in Cultivate What Matters, and I kind of like that as someone who dabbles in the garden a bit. So the first thing that we did was to write down goal ideas. What do you want to cultivate in the year ahead? Thoughts and ideas here, no perfect handwriting. That's something they stress throughout the whole thing. You don't have to do perfect handwriting. I went back and forth. You'll see when we get to my What Fires Me Up page. There's a couple pages where I was like, I want to do nice lettering because I want to reference these things throughout the year. This is not one of them. I just did whatever. So the things that I had for goal ideas for me this year: play World of Warcraft, obviously. Make the most of my time off and don't be distracted by matters of consequence. If you are familiar with The Little Prince, which is like, has been an important book in husband and my, well, both of our lives and then in our marriage as well. We actually had a reading from The Little Prince at our wedding, and when we got engaged, he got a fox tattoo from the fox from The Little Prince on his wrist. Was like, I got an engagement ring, he got that. So matters of consequences, like when you become an adult, you leave behind all the good and creative and, you know, the really important things when you were a child, and you are focused on matters of consequence, which is like your job and your chores and your obligations and things like that. So I have, just as a broad goal idea, make the most of my time and don't be distracted by those matters of consequence, which you'll see I'm going to go into that more as the planner goes on. Resurrect our blog, which we started last year, and then when COVID hit, we started doing things for our blog, but we didn't write them up. So I will talk more about our blog as we go on. Read more. I think I read 7 books in 2020, which is not bad. It's actually better than I thought I did, but go dancing as soon as it's safe. I would love to run 1,500 miles. I don't know if that'll happen or not. We'll see how training goes. Create routines, make writing a routine again, finally go to Harper's Ferry. We've been saying for years that we want to go to Harper's Ferry for a weekend and like just write and see the national park and go hiking and whatever. Spend time outside, travel, see national parks. Those are themes. Travel and national parks are themes that are going to come up again and again. Keep doing my YouTube, keep my house tidy. There's dog fur on my planner again. Be more organized, be an advocate, walk dogs, limit social media, run 1 marathon and 1 ultra, do my Allie Edwards project, learn to read tarot, get more involved in druid practice, keep my photos up to date, home improvement project, ? Travel with my parents, which hopefully we can do this summer, and a solo trip to the desert is like on my I would love it, but I don't know if it'll happen list. But I put it on there anyway. So, this is a common theme every year too. Comparison isn't just the thief of joy, it's the thief of everything. So it asks, where does comparison sneak into your life? The things that I selected on here, the options if you can't, I don't know. I'm trying to do a more zoomed in video, so I hope you can read this, but I'm not 100% sure how clear this all is. The options here were appearance, expertise, faith, life, finances, house, job title, kids, life stage, possessions, relationships, work, or other. The things that I said, comparison sneaks into my life, appearance, that's going to be a theme throughout this, is I don't like how I look and I'm struggling with it. It's what I have to work with. Work is another thing that sometimes I have issues with. And then travel, YouTube success, and lack of stress. And that is something that I see on social media. You know, social media is an easy place to compare yourself to others. And so I'll see like, oh, this person just started their YouTube channel and they have a lot more followers than me. What are they doing? How are they doing that? You know, that kind of thing. Getting jealous of seeing people travel, especially like in 2020 when we couldn't really travel, and I'm seeing people still traveling and I'm like, I know I can't do that, but I want to do that. Travel is a big thing. And lack of stress, seeing people who seem like they're keeping it all together. And I know social media shows you the best of the best. People aren't always talking about their hardships, but it's one of those things that you look at and you go, oh, how are they keeping their shit together and doing all these things and not stressing the fuck out? So this changed up a little bit for 2021. I think it was the same in 2019 and 2020. So ways that I am most encouraged. I said affirming words and quality time. The other options were acts of kindness, hugs and affection, meaningful gifts and surprises. I fucking hate surprises. That activates my anxiety, and I'm not a fan of meaningful gifts because I feel like my house is so cluttered, and when people buy me things, I feel like, oh my God, that's so cute and wonderful, and then I feel guilt that I have brought in another thing to my house. So affirming words and quality time, that's what encourages me. And then I want to be known for. I selected caring for people, creating beauty, leaving the world a better place, solving problems, and spreading joy. I think that's all accurate. The other options that I did not select are accomplishing important things, providing an example for others, and teaching truth. What helps me do my best? I selected creativity, curiosity, data, a plan, and stability. Yeah, I think that's all. I'm reading over this again and deciding like, is there anything else I would change? But no, I think that's good. I did not choose accountability, being a part of a team, clear milestones, confidence, efficiency, flexibility, independence, space to go slow, strong leadership, or taking risks. Definitely not taking risks. I'm a Libra. Risk taking is not really our thing. That being said, I feel motivated when I try something new, as long as it's not risky. I mean like a new food or a new place to hike or somewhere in the desert, you know? I also added in when I have something to look forward to. Planning for the future and having something that I can count down to and say, I just have to get through this, helps me keep going through the things that are really stressful. I did not choose challenge or push to soar. I'm incentivized where someone encourages me. Really, the things that motivate me, trying new things, having new experiences, and having something to look forward to. Those are the things that motivate Fox. How I feel about goals is the final section here. And this was like, the first one is, I want change in everything, let's do this. And I kind of felt that way, but then I kind of felt like, no, you know what, I've kind of gotten to a place where I am more comfortable with my life and I just want to improve and tweak some things. So I didn't choose that in the end. What I did choose were, I'm feeling hopeful about the year ahead, I'm afraid to commit to goals because what if they're the wrong ones? And I want to do it now. I want to do it all now. I'm anxious for my life to change. And I think the difference between that and I want change in everything is that I feel like I have a good foundation for a lot of things and I want to just like make them come into clearer focus, I guess is what that means. That's what I felt the difference with those. And the other ones I didn't choose, I'd rather help someone else with their goals. Goal setting is easy, you just make a plan and do it, or I'll probably complete my first 2021 goal on January 2nd. That obviously didn't happen because I am filming this on January 3rd and I was supposed to film this earlier this week, so that didn't even achieve that goal. But I think I am feeling hopeful about the year ahead. And I do really have a fear of committing to goals. Not so much because what if they're the wrong ones, but I feel like if I achieve my goals, then what next? Then like something's got to go wrong, you know? I don't know if other people who struggle with anxiety and depression have this same kind of feeling, but I have always had a hard time dealing with these feelings of like when things are going well, something's got to come along and fuck it up. Like I can't have things going too well for too long. Like if I achieve a goal, that means that the other shoe's going to drop and something bad's going to happen. And that's something that I've like worked on years and years and years in therapy and with myself. And so, yeah, I'm afraid to commit to goals. That is definitely something that affects how I go forward. So this is like every year, I think this is one of everybody's favorite parts of doing the power sheets. What fires me up? What makes you come alive? So she writes, what makes you come alive? Have you lost your passion, that spark of motivation that makes you excited for each day, or is it bubbling right under the surface, ready to be tapped into? So it says, describe how you feel most days. And I said, tired, stretched very thin. I want to do so much, but I feel like I'm overwhelmed and I feel paralyzed to start sometimes. So I think that's, I think that is like pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, I do feel like I have a lot on my plate and I don't necessarily want less on my plate. I guess I want a little bit less, but I want to be very careful which things are less and which things are not less. I want the things that I want to stick around to have more emotional space, and the things that are stressing me out to become like running in the background, that I don't have to think about them. So this is the one that I said I did nice lettering on because like, I don't know. This is my favorite page every year. So it's what fires me up. What do you love? To uncover your unique passions, those things you're willing to sacrifice your time, resources, or attention for, start with the things that you love to do. All right, dance, obviously. Early mornings, I like love my early mornings, getting up before the sun is up and just having time to myself. I love it. Running, time with husband, time with people I love, paper crafting, obviously. The desert, tied into that, travel, national parks, helping people, the cemetery, being alone in a big city, which is not something I have done in a long time, but it is something that I do love. My garden, cozy routines, true crime documentaries, good wine, holiday traditions, listening to Rent. I listened to Rent a lot in 2020. I cannot lie. It was like the soundtrack to my late summer, early fall. Dogs, trail running, the cage, doing puzzles, planning, writing, going out to dinner, exploring, laughing, my headlamp. I love night runs and I love any excuse to wear my headlamp. I'll be like, well, I gotta walk the dogs before it's light out today. I'm gonna bring my headlamp down to the shelter. Yeah. Working on the blog, creating videos, outside in general, and being hopeful. So those are the things that fire me up. Then, this is something that you'll go back to throughout the year. I think you do a quarterly refresh on this, if I am correct. I covered up a couple things that I was going to talk about on here, but it is evaluating 8 different areas in your life, and you give a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. What was interesting to me was doing this on Cultivate Your Year Live Day, and then after I did this, I pulled up last year's and I compared where my numbers were, and actually a lot of them were like very similar. So the categories are health, friends, spouse, or focal relationship, which they changed this year. So it's not just your spouse or it could be a friend, it could be a family member that's your like primary, confidant. Family, finances, spiritual or personal growth, work, or recreation. With spiritual and personal growth on here, I want to take a moment because a question that comes up a lot of the time about power sheets is, are they Christian? Laura Casey, who is the founder of all of this, is a Christian, and her faith is very, very important, and it is a part of her planning every year, her goal setting, and it's part of her podcast from what I understand. I haven't listened to very much of the podcast, but you can go either way. So I'm actually in a secular Powersheets group on Facebook, and that is like, there is obviously no talk of Christianity in that because it is secular. You can take it, you don't have to be a Christian, you can be another religion, as you'll see, which I'll go into here. But they have this category as spiritual and personal growth because it doesn't have to be about spirituality and religion or anything like, or faith or anything like that. It can be about personal growth in a different way. So that is the question that comes up the most, I think, that I see is, do you have to be a Christian? Is it Christian leaning? And I think from what I've read, Laura Casey's podcast is, and some of the things that are posted in, like, you will see many people who do Powersheets do use, have Bible-based goals, etc. But you don't have to have that, and the Powersheets themselves do not talk about God or Christian God or religion or anything like that. It's all, it can be, you can interpret it to your own needs and goals, if that makes sense. So now let's go into how I ranked my life. I always do this with a plus minus system. This goes back to my friend Lindsay and me in college. We had our live journals and we would do these posts, these plus minus posts, and it would be like, oh, I went to this thing this weekend and here is how it was, plus and minus. And you would be like, plus it was a lot of fun, minus it was a little bit expensive, plus my friends were there, plus there was a really good band, minus some dude wouldn't leave us alone. Like, that's how I structure these every quarter whenever I do the refresh on these, is I do plus and minus. So for health, I gave my health a score of 4. My minuses were not running much. I was not strength training at all. Most days I am too tired to cook a healthy meal. I'm at my highest weight ever. Positives, my blood pressure and glucose were great when I just had my blood work done last month, November, I think I had my blood work done. And I am sleeping a little bit better. I've finally gotten into like a better routine for sleeping with my sleeping medication and also my like nighttime Starry Night sleeping projector that I have, that you've seen in vlogs. So yeah, 4 for health. For friends, I gave myself an 8. The negative being it's a pandemic, so you can't really see your friends. But I felt like virtual Nano, when we had NaNoWriMo National Novel Writing Month this November, I thought our virtual events for that were really good. In the spring, whenever we couldn't run together, we were doing weekly Zoom calls with all of our runner friends, and that was going really well. And then I also said I have a lot of people that I can confide in. Like, I could still talk to my friends, even though I think in light of the circumstances that we can't all be just getting together whenever, hanging out at each other's houses, going out dancing, whatever. I think we're doing pretty well. So I gave myself a good score on that, and that will shift as the year goes on and we're able to interact more. We did run together yesterday for the first time in like forever. We just wear our masks, keep our distance, the usual. So for spouse, I gave that an 8. I said positive, we get along very well. Negative, there's not as much opportunity for date nights. We are like definitely a date night kind of couple that we're like, ooh, let's make a special night and let's go out and do something. We'll go to dinner, go to see a show, go to the museum. Like, we try to do a lot of stuff and we don't really have that opportunity. I did say work is in the way because I know like sometimes when we're together, it's not super quality time because we're both just like very emotionally drained from work. Positive, husband's been helping out around the house more, which has been like really good for me and my mental health. And positive, we haven't killed each other during quarantine. Hey. And then negative, I did say I could use some more alone time because of the pandemic. That's because he's working from home. So like, there's never a time where I'm home by myself. Like, I'll be upstairs. Like right now he's downstairs and I'm upstairs. And so we have like a little bit of space, but it's not quite the same as having the whole house to yourself and like practicing your karaoke songs. If you are a introvert and a person who likes alone time, you know what I'm talking about here. So family, I gave it an 8 because I love my parents. We have a great relationship. And my dad is like, he's doing so well. I'm afraid to say he's doing well because I don't want to jinx it. Like, that's, he got all of his blood work about a week ago. Is it a week ago? Maybe 10 days ago. and everything was like super good. We're waiting on scans in the middle of January, but so that was my negative, anxiety over cancer. And then it's cancer, you know. For those of you who may have found my channel and are not sure what I'm talking about, my dad has stage 4 small cell lung cancer. He was diagnosed in the middle of August of 2020. He had a lot of liver mets, and he had 2 brain mets. Those were treated with radiation. The liver mets have improved greatly from chemo. He's now on immunotherapy every 4 weeks. He's doing so much better than I could have planned. If you talked to me back in August or September, yeah. So, but there's always going to be anxiety over cancer. It's always going to be there. Small cell lung cancer is not the kind of cancer that goes into a full remission, it's not curable. So that's always going to be on this. That negative is forever going to be part of my life, worrying about my dad and his cancer. So finances, I gave us a 9 because we got super, super lucky this year that both of us, if anything, worked more. And so like, especially in the coming months, I'm going to be working more. So like, I literally don't think very much about our finances right now because we are like still, thank everything, knock on wood, whatever, in a decent place, keeping our jobs and still working full time. I did give myself a negative because maybe we should have a savings account. We don't really have any like plan about that, and that is something that I know we should have as grown-ass adults. But still, right now, for the time being, for the world that we live in, for everything that's going on, how old we are, that's a stable, consistent part of my life that I can have running in the background because things have not changed in, how long have I been a pharmacist? Oh, if you're new here, hi, I'm a pharmacist. That's what I do when I'm not filming YouTube videos and walking dogs. So I think I've been a pharmacist for 13 years now. And so like, yeah, I've been at the same company. I do a slightly different job now than I did recently, but it's the same job that I did previously. Anyway, it's like, this is one area of my life that I think I have a solid handle on at the present time, and I can let it run in the background for now. So, spiritual and personal growth. I gave myself a 3 on this because I really don't do very much. So I am a druid. That is the religion that I associate myself with, which is a branch of paganism. And yeah, I don't really do much besides going out into the woods. Or the desert. I'm really good at enjoying nature and that part of it, but it's not very formal. It's a very informal practice. So I gave myself a negative because it is something that I really want to work on is my druid practice, and I haven't made time for it in previous years. And so that's something that a deficiency area in my goals. I do take time for myself every morning, which is good for my spiritual and personal growth. But sometimes I feel like lost. I feel like I don't have a community. You know, I see friends who do belong to churches, and like it's nice that they have like some kind of structure and community, and the pagan community, we really don't have that same kind of thing, in part because there's a lot of branches of paganism, and in part because it's kind of like sometimes it's an individual journey, and so you don't really have, especially like as a druid, you don't really have that same sense of a group to belong to. It's more of like an individual thing, which for someone who's an introvert and who likes alone time, that's not bad, but I would like to have something if I want it, you know, something there on the side. So in terms of personal growth, I'm not writing much or at all outside of November, and so that's something that I really need to get back into or want to get back into. Work, I gave myself a 5 at this present time because healthcare practitioner during a global pandemic, you know, so I love my patients, I love my coworkers, I like my schedule at my store, like it's really, really good. I'm a retail pharmacist. I don't know if I said that. I think I just said that I'm a pharmacist. I'm a retail pharmacist. I have a lot of anxiety coming up. I'm going to be doing a lot of extra shifts. I'm going to be going to a schedule where I'm working basically 6 days a week, every other week, because I'm going to be doing vaccine clinics eventually in the next coming weeks. So those are ramping up, and like, there's a lot of uncertainty about the future right now, and I think that's where I give myself the lower scores, because that uncertainty is like the number one thing that affects my anxiety, is like not knowing, not having a plan, not knowing what to plan. So I think that's what, if we can have some more solid, once we know a few months, like I have a feeling that my score here, based on the uncertainty of healthcare and COVID and everything, the pandemic, I have a feeling that this is going to change drastically by my next quarterly refresh. Like I think a lot of the uncertainty is going to be taken away in the coming months. So I've chosen not to make this a target, even though it's only a 5, I've chosen not to make this a target to work on in the first quarter, because I think a lot of what is troubling me with this is out of my control right now. It's just kind of waiting to see what happens. The final section is recreation. I gave myself a 5 on this. This is a lot related to anxiety and depression. This is the big thing. So I gave myself a positive. I'm doing the best that I can during global pandemic, which I think I am. I think we really in 2020 tried to come up with ways that we could still thrive and function in the circumstances. I said that I missed California in the desert. We had to cancel our annual trip. I was supposed to go out for Go Wild, for Planners Gone Wild, and I was supposed to take like a couple days in the desert by myself after Go Wild was done. That obviously was canceled. I said I'm often distracted by chores and responsibilities, and I have anxiety about enjoying free time. I feel like when I'm not busy or productive, that I'm forgetting something, or that I have something on my mind that's distracting me. Like if I go out for a long run, the whole time I'm thinking I have responsibilities at home. The matters of consequence again, the thing that I was just talking about, right? So what they have you do is choose 3 areas where you think you need to work the most. So the 3 that I chose, or that you want to work on at the present time. Like I know I need to work on, I know that my situation related to work could be improved, but as I said, like that's not really something I have control over. Like there's a global pandemic and I have to roll with the punches, and kind of every day is a new day, figuring out what we're doing and what we're, that's not something I can control right now. So that's going to be something I don't focus on. So the 3 things that I can control and focus on that I chose as my like focal areas are health, spiritual and personal growth, and recreation. So that leads us into the next page. Evaluating your past year. So yeah, let's talk about 2020. So the first thing is the good things. So what worked in the last year? Early mornings, getting up early. My camera shuts off after 30 minutes and I knew this was gonna be a long video, so I have a timer running in the background to remind me. That's what just went off there. Okay, so what worked in the last year? Early mornings. I have fallen in love with the morning routine and getting up early before work and having time to myself. It's been just amazing. I look forward to it. New carpets, amazing. Sunday care packages from Allegheny Wine Mixer. We were doing that for a long time. When the pandemic first started, our favorite wine bar shut down, but they were doing these Sunday care packages where you could, it was I think $50. You got a bottle of wine and then it was a different like menu every week, and it was awesome. There was a lot of like cheese and meats and sandwiches, really good stuff. And we did that like almost every Sunday for a while, and it was wonderful. Long walks during the Rat is the race across Tennessee. I did the Great Virtual Race across Tennessee. This year, it started May 1st and went through August 31st, and your goal was to do at least 1,000 kilometers. And so we were doing like, you have to average about 5 miles a day. And so we were doing long walks like daily during the summer, and it was wonderful. Like the weather was beautiful. We got to explore neighborhoods we haven't been to before. It was great. My garden, my parents and I worked a lot on the garden this year. It looks really, really much improved. I actually had vegetables that we were able to eat. My squirrel picnic table, if y'all haven't been following, I have a squirrel picnic table. Maybe I'll put a picture up here of one of my little dudes. They love it. It's like, it's a source of joy for me every day. Actually, I think they ate all their walnuts, so I have to replace that. But anyway, I love it. Socially distanced road trips. We did travel a few times to some national parks and also up to the Finger Lakes. And basically it was just like places where we didn't have to interact with people. Most of what we did was hiking or outdoors stuff. And so that ended up working. Dining outdoors, the best thing to come out of the pandemic. I love restaurants that have outdoor seating, and like the focus on that this year was like, yes, please. Frick Park trail running, something else that started during the pandemic. Since I couldn't run with my friends, I started running a lot more trails. and I started running Frick Park trails, and I've kind of gotten to know them. That's the park that's closest to our house. I've kind of gotten the handle on how they all go now, and it's really awesome because I was not really familiar with it, and now I kind of know the geography a little bit. I spent a lot of time on the trails. My planners were great this year. My YouTube channel, I've really enjoyed, even if I haven't, I got like an extra 20 plus subscribers this year, so that's pretty decent. And then National Novel Writing Month, even though my plot sucked, it was still really fun. People I'm grateful for: my dad, husband, my mom, Christy, that's my running partner. She also works in retail, so we have discussions about what it's like to work in retail together all the time. All of my run fam in general. Sion, who is another runner friend of mine, but he's also my partner for National Novel Writing Month, and he fucking kills it every year. I would not be able to do it without him. Layla Grace, of course, my beloved little pit bull. If you're new here, here's a picture of her. She's perfection in every way. Stacey Abrams, love her. Could not be doing World without her. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, thank you for giving me some hope this year. You're on my list too. My shelter aunties, I am a volunteer dog coach at the shelter here in Pittsburgh, and I have my girlfriends that I'm really close with from there, and they are like my rock. I love them. I could not do life without them. My shelter dogs I also put on there. And then Tina, Alex, and Billy, who are our friends who are the staff at the cage, which I mentioned briefly earlier. Moving on to challenges. What didn't work in the last year? What didn't work to help you live on purpose in the last 12 months? Obsessing over the news didn't really help. Did not really help, just made me more anxious. Worrying about shit that I can't control didn't really help. Letting self-care get forgotten. Going like, oh my God, when's the last time that I like moisturized my face? Not a good plan. My diet, I really started eating a lot of garbage because garbage was easier. And in a way, mentally, maybe I needed to do that, but like physically it does not make me feel terrific. Too much scrolling social media. That was something I would come back to again and again when I got anxious and I had feelings of hopelessness, powerlessness, lack of control. I would just start scrolling social media, and it is a real struggle. Like before the pandemic, I was trying to work on being on Facebook less than 45 minutes a day, and I don't even check it anymore because I know it's hours and I don't want to think about it. That's something that really, and it doesn't really, I guess it like fills the time in that moment, but it doesn't really give me anything, Having healthy, what didn't work in the last year was having healthy coping mechanisms, because the things that I rely on to help me with stress relief and dealing with my anxiety and my depression, a number of those things were not possible in a global pandemic, like going out dancing, running. Like I was still running some, but without like races and training plans and being able to run with my girlfriends. Like I just really did not run as much as I like to and as much as makes me feel good. Not being able to travel. For 6 months, we couldn't walk dogs at the shelter. Between March and September, we weren't walking dogs. Like all those things that I rely on, going out to California, going out to the desert, going to national parks. Like I did make things happen in some ways. Going dancing, we had a couple outdoor dance nights and those were amazing. But like these things that I rely on like regularly were very hard to come by. And so, yeah, that did not work. Like missing those things, I really struggled with that. Trying to do everything myself did not work. Hence the comment that husband is helping me out around the house more. And not taking care of myself and my body. I have done a crap job of taking care of my body. I mean, like in terms of like not getting sick and things, knock on wood, I have done okay with that. But yeah, eating right, like I've been trying to get enough sleep, like 6 hours of sleep, but I just haven't done a great job. So lessons that I learned in the past year. I can adapt and I have resilience. For sure. This has been a year of adaptation, 2020. I matter and my peace matters. So that things that keep me from being out of control, that matters and that's important. I also learned that you can't reason with stupid people. Anybody who's been in a comment section in 2020 knows that. I learned that daily quiet time is essential for my mental health. And I learned that I am still me without the things that I rely on for my sanity, such as running, dance, and travel. And it is worth sticking it out even through the tough times. So, something that comes up every year in the power sheets. is the boxes that you put yourself in. So it says we're so quick to limit ourselves, deciding who we are, who we aren't, and what we can and cannot do. How many times have you accepted defeat before even trying? So it's the identity boxes that she talks about. So it says, what identity box or boxes have you unknowingly put yourself into, and write out your thoughts. So these are the things that you have decided to yourself that you can't do or that you can't be. So mine are always, these come up all the time. I'm not a real writer. I just write crap for fun. I'm just a retail pharmacist, so I'm not a real healthcare practitioner. I'll never be organized. I'm just a messy person. I'm bad at time management. I'm not a real runner because I'm not fast. And I'll never feel good about my body. I'll always have body image issues. So imagine the possibilities if you were to break free from your identity box. What would happen if you flipped the script? Who would you be free to be? I said I could be more confident, feel better about myself and my body. I could wear cute outfits, take more photos, and not hate what I see when I look in the mirror. I could hit my running and fitness goals. I could finally do my 100K, someday a 100-miler. I could have a successful YouTube channel. I could edit and have books that I love and that other people would enjoy. And I could realize the impact I have in my community and the lives of my patients. Cool. Those sound like nice goals. The next section is I'm moving past fear. So fear will try to hold us back from making what matters happen. Name your fears about the year ahead, even the ones that you don't want to write, using the format I fear blank because blank. So I said, I fear achieving my goals because then something will go wrong. As I mentioned earlier, this is a big chunk of my anxiety, feeling that if things are going too well, then they're going too well and something bad has to happen. I fear sharing my creative work because people will make fun of me. I do worry about that. I worry about criticism. I fear pushing my body because I will get hurt. And I think I have some reasons to fear that because I had like a pretty limiting injury back at the end of 2018 from a race. And I had to be in physical therapy for several months. I had pain. I had hip tendonitis, which I still am like always worried will come back. So yeah, I see why I have that fear. And I also fear sharing my emotions because I will get hurt. Yeah, that's something else I've been dealing with all my life. So if I were to step into my fears and take action, I would feel, and I said, confident, content, and at peace and present. Now, this is another section that comes up every year. Imagine yourself when you were 80, the big picture, imagine your life. They ask, do you feel like life is flying by? You blink and another hour, day, or year has passed. Where is the time going? So the ones that I checked off are that I often feel like time is flying. Being present can be challenging. My mind is often in a million places. That is like the number one for me. That is such a serious thing. Sometimes I feel spread too thin. I try to do it all and end up doing a lot of things poorly. I very much feel that. Distractions leave me feeling empty. I feel like I waste more time than I should. Also the scrolling social media, that's a big part of that. And I want to make my days count. The two that I did not check are, so much happens in my days, but I wish I was making more progress on matters in the big picture, and I don't know how to use my time to focus on what's important. I guess these are kind of relevant, but yeah, they weren't big situations. So, the big picture. Imagine yourself many years from now, looking back on the whole of your life. Where will you be grateful that you spent your time and attention? They used to say, where will you be when you're 80? And now it just says, many years from now. So I said what will have mattered is how many dogs I have loved, all the photos and memories, the experiences I can look back on, the help I gave to my patients, how I took care of myself and kept myself healthy, having a home I love and can relax in, growing old with my love, and time spent in the desert or the forest. What will not have mattered, I said how skinny I was, who didn't like me, mistakes I made along the way, the awkward things I said that one time, anxiety brain, and having leftover money for savings that I could have used on living life to the fullest. I mean, I need to have some savings because who knows what the hell happens when you get old. But you get what I'm saying here. Can't take it with you. Who do you want to be? Knowing what will matter to you. Describe the type of person you want to be. What do you want to be known for? What will be your legacy? And I said, I want to be known as a creative, interesting person who's a good friend, a great pharmacist, and a caring human. I want to be someone that others can look at as a success story of someone who lives with anxiety and depression but is still getting by, someone who can help them get there too. So then they had us go back. It says, your legacy starts now. Flip back through pages 4 through 17, mark things that stand out to you, review everything you've written and have it in mind, and envision your most purposeful year yet. Write out a few sentences to describe it. How will you spend your time? So you go back through the work that you've done thus far, what fires you up, what you think you need to work on, and you come up with these ideas. So I said, time off that is purposeful, where I'm not distracted and can focus on enjoying every moment. Lots of fun adventures with husband, friends, and family. The mental space to be creative each day. No guilt if I go out for a 5-hour long run. The ability to enjoy and immerse myself in things that I love. I want to look at my calendar and say, I have 4 hours today. I can walk to the cemetery. I can sit, write, relax. I don't have my mind constantly pulled back to what I should or need to be doing around the house or at work. Having the self-confidence to say no without guilt. And the space to not feel rushed, to feel like I have time for what's important and the mental energy to do it. So I think all of these things like really, really relate to each other. Like it all comes back to that, like wanting to have the matters of consequence streamlined and running in the background so that I can be more present and have the mental space to enjoy what's going on right now. So then they have you make a yes and no list. Make some decisions about where you'll spend your time this year and where you won't. Say yes to what matters and no to the things that will hold you back. So I said yes to prioritizing my health, making space for cooking healthy meals, running, lifting, and sleeping. Prioritizing mental health, getting outside, running, journaling, and keeping tidy. Being present each day, forgiving myself if days are not perfect. Saying no. I'm saying yes to saying no. Saying yes to giving myself grace on the days when depression and anxiety are intense. Saying yes to running all the miles. Saying yes to putting the laundry away the day that I do it, which is a struggle. And being real as often as possible. I am saying no to obsessing over the news, scrolling social media mindlessly, stressing about the unknown and having anxiety about uncertain futures, worrying about what others think about me, having guilt when I say no, letting depression and anxiety tell me that I'm not worth it, letting the things I can't control emotionally destroy me, and worrying about the laundry when I'm out on a run. Why do I worry so much about the laundry and the chores when I'm out running? All right, dreams become decisions when you cultivate them. So this is like the Mad Lib of goal setting, right? Imagine your best year. So here's where we are. My name is Fox. I am ready to get my life back. I am capable of change. I'm deciding that I can. The areas of my life that most need to be cultivated are my health, my personal and spiritual growth, and my free time. In the past, I have been very distracted by less significant things, but now I'm ready to make the most of every day. My legacy starts today. When I'm 80, I want to be the weird old runner lady with all the pit bulls. I will be known for hanging out in cemeteries, running and winning the 80-plus age group, and fostering and adopting all the pit bulls. I'll start living my life vision this year by being present and making myself and my happiness a priority. I will do this little by little with leaps of faith along the way. I want to make what matters happen because I am worth it. My definition of success is being content, being able to do the things I love and that make me feel twice as alive. I will live this by saying yes to prioritizing my mental and physical health and saying no to worrying about the judgment of others. I will surround myself with less bullshit and worry and fill my life with more good wine, pit bulls, and trail runs. I'm ready, let's do this. So, what do you most want to cultivate in 2021? And I said peace of mind. I thought that was the best way to summarize all of those things that are on my mind. So, what you do is you choose your big yearly goals, right? And then you're going to break them down into mini goals and action steps. And this is what is like so, I don't know, this is what makes so much sense to me about the Cultivate What Matters Powersheets version of goal setting. And then they're doing, in the last 2 years, they have started doing the power of 90 days, doing quarterly refreshes. And that way you're not like setting 8 goals up front and then being like, I have to stick with these, you know, like, you can change a couple months in and be like, oh, this changed, I want to adjust this. You know, I think that really is very, very helpful and healthy way to go about it. So they have you write a rough draft of your yearly goals. So in the end, you have up to 8 goals that you will write down. Those are your broad goals. So previously it was 10, they cut it down to 8, and you don't have to do all 8. I chose to do all 8, and I'm not going to focus on every single one every quarter, but I chose to come up with 8 overall for the whole year. But the first thing that you do is come up with ideas of things that you might want to have as your goals for 2021. So I have on here, post 2 to 3 videos weekly on my YouTube channel, grow my audience and followers, run 100 miles per month at least 9 months out of the year, create routines for my mental and physical health, AM routines, PM routines, and a cleaning routine, scrapbook and memory keep, and then the things I have on here, my 365 project, which is like a photo a day project that I've been doing since 2013. It's way behind. I have to upload photos for it. It's like the photos are taken, they're just not uploaded. Going through and finishing some old scrapbooks that I had started, and then I wanted to do a list of like a calendar of dates and events, so that way that will save me time. Like if I'm like, oh, what year did we go to Death Valley, or what year was Layla Grace a ballerina for Halloween? Like I want to have a list of all the years and events that happened that year, so it makes it easier for me to, like, when I want to go back and find a scrapbook or find a photo or something like that. So eat healthier. Try to make takeout important and not just something to fall back on. So if we're gonna get takeout, I want it to be like something we're really gonna enjoy eating and not just like, let's get pizza again. Save recipes that we like in a binder that goes along with that. I added that on later. Continue to work on my garden and establish the bones of the garden so that I know this section is for vegetables, this section is for perennials, this section is for annuals, you know. So that way I have like my setup every year that I need to just maintain and adjust. Actually try to do all 101 achievements. That is our blog. Our blog is basically at the beginning of each year, we come up with 101 things that we want to try to do over the course of the year. They could be big things like a travel related goal, or they could just be like, one year I had never tried cottage cheese, so I wanted to try cottage cheese. Go to like a local event, you know, personal goals. Like we have never done all 101, and I really want to try. This might be the year we could do it. So work on my time management, less mindless scrolling, more intentional with my time off, cultivate my druid practice, read books about it, learn to read tarot, and then write and edit even if it's bad. So this leads to my 8 yearly goals. What I settled on as my 8 yearly overview goals for 2021: take better care of my body, establish routines for mental and physical health, scrapbook and memory keep, become a distance runner again, try to do all 101 achievements, explore my druid practice, grow my YouTube channel, and prioritize creativity and writing. So those are my overview. I actually like made a copy so that I can keep it in my other planner so that I have reference to look at in both places. And these are the things that I'm going to be working on. This section is for a vision board. I didn't do a vision board. I don't know. I like vision boards sometimes. I have a couple that are like at my office space desk area here, but I just didn't feel, I don't know. I didn't feel I needed to do this, and I didn't feel like I super wanted to do it. So I did not do that portion. And then my word of the year, flourish. The definition says to grow or develop in a healthy or vigorous way, especially as a result of particularly favorable environments. So my word of the year for 2020 was thrive, because I felt like I did a lot of hard personal work in 2019 and I was ready to just be like, balls out, enjoy my fucking life. Well, then we had a global pandemic, and so that became a lot harder. And so I thought about using thrive as my word again, but I was like, I don't jinx it using the word of the year that was hard. So I was looking up like related words, and this one really like hit home with me because of, it's a similar idea that you want to just like become the best version of yourself. But I like that it says, especially as a result of a particularly favorable environment, because I felt like that tied into my goals of creating these mental health routines and these physical, you know, routines around our house and our home and my garden and things like that. So I felt like this was like the most appropriate word for the year. So I think basically why I chose this word is what I just explained. I could have just read that. So it's time to bloom where you are planted. How do you grow a garden? You tend to it little by little. It's the same with goals. So this is the portion. So this is how far we got during Cultivate Your Year Live. We did all of this. We didn't do the word of the year, but we did all of this first 27 pages. And then this is to do on your own time. So basically this is taking my 8 goals and breaking them down into my action plan and my mini goals. And then you use this going forward to create your monthly goals. So my yearly goal, take better care of my body. Why? I'm tired of being unhappy with how I look. I'm tired of skipping photos because I'm worried that I don't look good in them. And I want more energy, and I want to avoid injury when I start running again, which I did start running again this week. And I'm doing some strength training to go along with it because I really don't want to get hurt again. Once you get hurt running and you're not able to run for a little while, it like creates a bad situation in your brain because now you're always worried that you're going to get hurt again. So they have you on this page check off what resources are needed for this goal and then what it aligns with. So it's your big picture, your yes and no list, and your word of the year. So I feel like most of my goals have the same answers for this. So taking better care of my body, resources needed, time, and emotional capacity. And then I said it aligned with all three of my big picture, yes, no list, and word of the year. So what success looks like for this goal at the end of 2021, be at a healthy weight, be able to complete at least one marathon and one ultra marathon. What might happen if you don't start or make progress on this goal? Feel bad about myself, guilt feelings, and FOMO. FOMO is very real for me. People who will be positively affected by this goal, me, husband, runner fan. Husband has to live with me. When I'm not running and I'm not taking care of my body, I'm miserable to be around. So yeah. How I will have fun with this goal along the way. Listening to new podcasts on my runs, being able to buy cute outfits, cooking healthy meals, progress photos, and bitching about stuff on the internet with friends. So my mini goals, my first mini goal would be get under 180 pounds, which is about 12 pounds to lose. And then 170 pounds and then 160 pounds is like my goal weight. Complete some of the Beachbody On Demand programs. Do at least 30 minutes of fitness every day and 10 or more minutes of stretching. Meal plan weekly, try to eat out only once or twice a week, pack healthy snacks at work so I'm not eating like chips and crap at work, wash my face at bedtime and moisturize daily and do a face mask once a week because I can't go for facials anymore and that was a big part of how I kept my skincare up and yeah. So my goal, I would like to be at 178 pounds by the end of March would be like terrific. And my action plans, so the mini goal, this is your yearly goal. And then this is asking which mini goals do you have, and then this is your mini goal for the first quarter for January through March. So meal planning every other Wednesday. I do my grocery shopping every other Thursday, and so every other Wednesday night is the night that I meal plan. Start a Beachbody On Demand program on 12/28 that goes for 3 weeks. I did that. It's going to go longer than 3 weeks because some days I'm not going to do the workout on the day that I run. Like yesterday, my workout was supposed to be cardio and I ran 6 miles, so I'm not going to do more cardio that night. So that'll get bumped to tomorrow. So it's going to take me more than the 3 weeks, but it's a 3-week program. Stretch at least 10 minutes a day, bring healthy snacks to work every day, only get takeout 1 to 2 days a week, 30 or more minutes of fitness daily, create a running calendar for my next race, make a fitness calendar each week where I would plan out my strength training days, and wash my face every night at bedtime and moisturize at least once a day. So next action plan is my yearly goal is to establish routines for mental and physical health. Why? Because clutter, searching for things, feeling stretched too thin, this shit drives me crazy and I can't focus on the important stuff. I want my routines to run in the background and keep me focused in the present. Resources needed, I said time, physical space, and help from others, and it aligns with all 3 of the goals. So I said what success looks like for this at the end of 2021. Having routines for mental health such as journaling, running, and stretching, and physical health, meal plan and prep, keeping the house tidy so I can be more present. What might happen if I don't start or make progress on this goal? Distracted all the time, stretched very thin. What's happening now? The people who will be affected positively by this goal, me, husband, Layla Grace, friends and family, my patients, everybody who has to come into contact with Fox at any time in her life. How I will have fun vlogging about it. I will vlog about it. So my mini goals, establish a morning routine, a Sunday routine. I never work on Sundays. I'm off every Sunday. We're closed on Sundays. So that can be like if I have weekly things like watering my plants or changing the sheets, like I can do those things on Sundays. Get chores on a cycle for deep cleaning and decluttering. I would like to pick a focus room for each month, except for January. I think we'll get to that. January will be just setting up the schedule for the year, and then I'll go on to the individual stuff starting in February. have a before bed routine and do monthly planning. I don't usually do monthly planning. I usually just do weekly planning in my planner. So the monthly planning will be a new thing. So my mini goal for January through March is to establish and follow a morning routine and research the chore cycles. So come up with my morning routine, write it up, monthly plan for each month. So writing down what days I work, what days I volunteer, when I go to my clinics, when I do my groceries, the things that are like set every day. Have that in my monthly planner so I can look at it at a glance and get a feel for the week or the month. And then research how often certain household chores should be done and start a plan for that. I don't know how often you're supposed to like clean your oven and shit like that, you know? Grown-up stuff that you never really get a handle on. My third goal is scrapbook and memory keep. Why? It makes me happy. Resources needed, time and emotional capacity. It takes a long time to scrapbook. It really does. I said it aligns with all of my things. Success for this goal at the end of 2021 looks like having my stories by the month filled out, December daily, and my 365 project to look back on and enjoy. So I talked about the 365 project. Stories by the month and December daily are two scrapbooking things under Ali Edwards. I will try to remember to put a link to Ali Edwards below in the description. It's stories by the month. You get a kit every month and it has like your themes, and then you can just like, it's beyond scrapbooking. Like I've always done scrapbooking for a trip or an event or something, and this is kind of more like making the most of your day-to-day life. And I started doing it this past year, but it is a time commitment. So, and then December daily is that on a daily basis in the month of December. What might happen if I don't start? I'll just wish that I had done it and I'll feel sad. People affected positively, me, my family, and husband, people who would like look at these scrapbooks and memory keeping. How I will have fun with this goal along the way. It's fun. It is fun. It's just making the time to do it. That's the problem. So my mini goals are complete my December daily from 2020, edit all the photos the next day. So basically what I want to do in my part of my morning routine is take all the photos off of my phone and off of my camera and edit them the next morning, which I was doing really well with this over the summer until my dad got diagnosed with cancer. And then everything just went to shit for a while. So, and make progress on my 365 project. So my mini goal is to complete my December daily in the month of January and edit my photos daily. Action steps, I said, dedicate time to work on it each week. I was thinking like I could dedicate 2 hours every Sunday in the morning to work on it. I didn't today because I had other shit to do. See, here you go. Make photo edits part of my morning routine and do a few photos a day for the 365 project, which I'll talk about when I get to my January goals. So my number 4 goal, become a distance runner again. Why? Because I like myself better when I'm running. All I really need is time and emotional capacity. It aligns with all of my big picture yes, no, and word of the year. What success will look like at the end of 2021. At least 1 marathon and 1 ultra marathon and no injuries. What might happen if I don't start or make progress, FOMO, and my depression. My depression is always worse when I'm not running. It's always better when I'm running. People who will be positively affected by the goal, me and everyone who has to be around me ever. Again. How I will have fun. Run with my girlfriends, listen to new podcasts, and get back into Zombies Run, which is like it's an interactive podcast, like you're a character in the story. And it integrates your playlist, so it's like part music and then part story. It's really awesome. If you are a runner or you walk or bike or anything like that, I really recommend Zombies Run. There's a free version, but you can also pay. I pay like, I'm gonna say $20 a year to support them because I just love the product. There's a bunch of seasons out, and it's basically like the zombie apocalypse has hit. It's great voice actors. You're a character in their story, and then it'll play like a chunk of story, and then it'll play like 2 songs from your playlist and then go back into the story. So it's a nice mixture of podcast and music. My mini goal is for the first quarter is to complete the first 3 months of marathon training. I have to write up my calendar and copy it into my monthly planner and actually get out and run 4 days a week. Starting out, I have a goal of 3 to 4 days a week because I didn't run like at all in December, so I don't want to go to 4 days a week right away. So I did 3 days this week, and then hopefully we'll be up to 4 days by the end of the month. Goal number 5 is to try to do all 101 achievements. Why? Because it's fun. I like to share stuff that we do that is fun. Resources needed, time, emotional capacity, and help from others. I didn't mark that this aligns with big picture yes, no list or word of the year, but I guess it does align with all of them. I don't know why I didn't mark that. Success at the end of 2021. Job well done. We can retire the blog, going out on the top. what might happen if I don't start or make progress, feeling FOMO, bummed out, like I did this year that we like didn't work on it at all. People positively affected, me and husband, and anybody who reads our blog. How I'll have fun along the way. It is fun. And planning. I like to plan, and I can, you know, I bought a planner that will be coming, hopefully next week. So that's something too. So the mini goals, choosing the achievements, making a loose calendar, and then writing the post, scheduling time to actually write the post. So that's my mini goal for the first quarter. Choosing our achievements, and then making our plan, and then doing our monthly, we have a couple that we do like monthly cheese, monthly jelly, monthly cocktail, doing those things. And I would like to write 1 to 2 posts a week. Goal number 6 is exploring my Druid practice. Why? Because I want to feel more in touch with my spirituality. I said resources needed, time, emotional capacity, and expertise or advice, because this is something that I really am like I don't know a lot about. Success looks like an understanding of the major pagan holidays, feeling confident in my progress, what might happen if I don't start or make progress, keep feeling kind of lost, people who are positively affected is me, and how I'll have fun along the way. I'm excited to learn stuff. So my mini goals that I have 2 Druid, like Intro to Druid practice books, and I have an Intro to Tarot book. So I want to read those, and then I want to learn the major holidays as they happen, because I don't really know and fully understand all the different major pagan holidays. So I would like to set aside and schedule reading time, and then start my tarot book. I did start reading up the first couple pages, but I can read some more this week. So I want to have that. I want to read that whole book by the end of the month is my goal. Goal number 7 is to grow my YouTube channel. Why? Because I love it. I want to reach more people. Resources needed, time, expertise, or advice. I have it aligning with all 3 items here. What success will look like. I'd like to have over 100 followers and average 3 or more videos per week. What happens if I don't start or make progress? I said I'll be stressed or sad or both. People positively affected, me and other planner-minded people who have anxiety and depression. So they ask you a lot when you're like taking classes about YouTube or trying to learn about YouTube, like, what is your channel's purpose? And it could be just to entertain. It could be to help people set goals. It could be able to help people learn lettering or cooking or budgeting or whatever. I think my goal for my channel is to be like entertainment, but also show what it's like to live with anxiety and depression, because I talk about that pretty openly, and I don't know, be a real person that people can relate to. So I'll have fun with this goal on the way. It is fun. So I want to plan my content in advance. As I mentioned, I ordered a content planner that should be coming in the next week. Publish 3 videos a week. I want to do my plan with me every Monday, a vlog every Thursday, and then a 3rd video on Sundays. And take the damn Skillshare class. I started one, I never finished it. So my mini goal is to publish 3 videos each week, make a content plan at the start of the month, watch a Skillshare class to learn how to grow my audience. And then my final goal for the year is to prioritize creativity and writing. And I said, why? Because I'm happier when I do. Resources needed, time, and emotional capacity. I aligned it with all 3 of my items here. What success would look like. A more polished draft of one of the books that I've been working on, regular blog posts, and daily journaling. What might happen if I don't start or make progress? Just feel sad. Feeling sad and feeling FOMO are recurring themes here. People positively affected me, someone who might enjoy reading my story, and how I will have fun with this goal along the way. Hopefully, when we can go back to restaurants, we can go back to the Cage. We always do Monday nights at the Cage. It's always a chance to just like have a good dinner and write and be creative. So my mini goals: journal daily, 1 to 2 blog posts a week, and then writing the once a week writing outing at the Cage when we are able to. I did put a note here for myself that says, I think this will be a larger focus in quarter 2. So this is kind of on the back burner for right now. But the things I can do right now is journal daily and write blog posts 1 to 2 times a week. Then they have you pace out in quarter 1. I didn't really use this page very much. I felt like, okay, we've already fucking gone through this stuff. So I did kind of write in here plans for January, but that's as far as I got. So we'll skip over that. I didn't do any of the wild cards. They have like blank pages and you can download wild cards and then I didn't do that. So final part of this video, which is like 2 fucking hours long at this point. My January. All good things start with 1 step. Okay, so this is your setup for every month. So it's called Prepare Well. It has your important to do things you're excited for, things that are on your mind, and things that you are hopeful for. So my important to do's, I have to get a COVID test twice weekly for going into clinics. I have to set up my training and standing test for the clinics. And then I want to run 3 to 4 times a week. I am trying to process a name change back to my real name. I have both names right now, and it's a whole thing. I'll talk about that at some other point. But I want to try to start working on that now because I have to renew my passport, and I wanted to have my name change done before I get the passport. It's a whole thing. I have to renew my CPR. That's happening next week, so that's on there. I have to get my crown, my temporary crown replaced. That's next week, so that's getting done. And then I'm supposed to donate blood. Ever since this dental work, I cannot get off of ibuprofen from the dental pain, so I don't know when. I was supposed to donate blood next week. I have to be 48 hours without NSAIDs, and I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm excited for the COVID vaccine is coming out. Very exciting. I'm excited for a new start, lots of goals. I love the beginning of the year. Running again, doing a puzzle, playing World of Warcraft. Things that are on my mind, the earth, because it's not doing so well. My dad's CT scan that's coming up in a couple weeks. COVID is still raging out of control everywhere. And I'm worried about the stress of balancing my extra shifts that I'm gonna be picking up. And I'm worried about driving in the snow because I am a grandma. And we have had already a couple of snow days that I've had to drive in. I'm hopeful that my dad's scans will be good, that I can stick to my fitness goals, that I won't get hurt running. This January will be the fresh start that I need, and it won't snow on days that I have to go to work. I did not use the monthly calendar to set up. I believe what I'm gonna do that I started last year that worked really well. I try to eat 2 vegetables a day, and it really helped me to track what my vegetables were on this page, and I think that might be what I do again. So I haven't put anything in yet, but I generally don't use this monthly calendar in here because I have a separate planner that has calendars in it. So, but that's what I think I'm gonna do again, is do the vegetable, the vegetable planner. So then the tending list. So the tending list is your monthly goal worksheet, basically. So this is where you sit down and say, this month I'm going to work on these things monthly, these things weekly, and these things daily. So you first can brainstorm things if you know, I put dates on here: permanent crown January 7th, donate blood January 8th, that kind of stuff. Ideas for things that you want to have as daily. So this is your brainstorming page here. And then once you get your ideas, then you copy it onto here. So this is my tending list for January. It always starts out with encouraging words. I'm a big fan of Dave Matthews Band lyrics. So this is the lyrics from You Might Die Trying. It says, to change the world, you start with one step, however small. First step is hardest of all. Thought that was a good January. I used that one time last year, but I'm gonna use it again this year because it's a good January quote. My priority is to get organized. And then I am trying color coding this year. I've never done the color coding before. So that's why we printed this puppy out here. So these, I try to use the same colors that I used on this page in here, which is funny. I didn't intentionally choose orange to be my druid practice. If you play World of Warcraft, I play a druid in World of Warcraft as well. I'm not only a druid, I play one in World of Warcraft. And that's the color. Every class has their own color. So when you show up as a dot on the screen, you show up as that color, and druids are orange. And I didn't even fucking realize when I put this all together that I was an orange for druid. So that worked out nicely. So anyway, I tried to relate all of my goals in here to use the same colors as they relate to my colors of goals here. So my monthly action items, making the chart of cleaning. Okay, so let's go through it this way. The things that relate to taking better care of my body. My monthly action item is completing 21-day fixed real time, which is the Beachbody On Demand strength training video that I'm doing. My weekly action item is to do a face mask every week because, again, not going for facials. And then my daily is tracking my macros, working out for 30 or more minutes, and stretching for 10 or more minutes. Then my goal of establishing routines for mental and physical health. In January, my monthly goal with that is to make a chart of cleaning and chore cycles, change the sheets this many times, clean the oven this often, dust this often, vacuum, those kinds of things. My CPR class and OSHA recertification, and then doing a monthly plan for the first time since I don't normally do monthly plans. I don't have any weekly action items relating to that. And then my daily action, I have morning routine, and then touching my planners daily, because that seems to help my brain, is when I'm checking in with my planner every day. So then relating to scrapbook and memory keeping, my monthly goal is to finish December daily from last month and try to do the January 2021 stories by the month in real time. So work on it a little bit every week. And then my 365 project, I want to get through 1 month of the 365 project every week, and then edit my photos daily is my daily action item. So related to becoming a distance runner again, my monthly goal is to print and fill out my marathon training plan. I'm just going to assume I'm going to try to do a marathon the first week of May. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to try. And then my weekly action is to run 3 to 4 times a week. Relating to our blog, I have a monthly goal of finalize our achievement list for the year and plan an initial calendar. And then weekly action item, 1 to 2 blog posts. I don't have any daily action items related to that. Then for my Druid practice, I only have a monthly item, which is read that Intro to Tarot book and get through all of that book this month. Relating to my YouTube channel, my monthly action item is to take a YouTube Skillshare class. Weekly is to do 3 YouTube videos. So this is my 3rd one this week. Good job, Fox. You're doing it. And then I don't have anything on here for my prioritizing creativity and writing, because as I said, I think that's something that's going to go as the weeks and months go on. So that is my power sheet setup for the year and my first month for January 2021. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if you're doing the power sheets, what are you doing? What are your goals? What are you focusing on right now? I'm going to be doing a monthly video showing how I do with my goals and then setting up my goals for the following month. And that will be one of my Sunday videos. Like I said, I'm going to do a plan with me every Monday, a vlog every Thursday, and then the Sunday will be like various different things. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it was a lot of fucking information, and I probably should have made it more than one video, but I don't know what else to do. All right, please subscribe if you're new here. I do publish videos 2 to 3 times a week. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking it out to the very end of this video if you did that. And I hope you all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you all in my next video.